Hey everyone, welcome to My Millennial Business. I'm Glenn James. I host a podcast called My Millennial Money. And My Millennial Business, it's a show where I want to give you business tips, I want to give you business encouragement, and I also want to chat to other small business owners out there, everyday people who are just running their business. We can learn from them, we can be inspired by their stories, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Today I've got Stewart Westwood. He's a local electrical contractor, local to the area that I'm in, and I've seen him around. He listens to My Millennial Money. I think he installed some power here for an air conditioner once, and I just wanted to have a chat about Stewart's journey about starting his electrical business, the transition from going from an apprenticeship into full-time business, how he looks after his customers. We're going to talk about ways that we can maybe turn the engagement up a little bit to add that extra wow and all that fun stuff. So let's have a chat. G'day, Stewart. How are you?
Good, thanks. How you going?
I'm good. So what is your business? Who are you? What do you do? And we'll just see where this bus drives.
I'm Stewart, electrician. Been out on my own as a sole trader for about three and a half years now, mainly on the Central Coast.
So 3.5 years, you've passed that hurdle of the businesses failing within the first 3 years.
I feel that way at the moment, especially with COVID.
Yep.
But COVID's abnormal.
What were you doing before you were... So how old are you, number one?
27.
You're 27.
Yep.
So 24 years old. So basically out of school, did you go straight into an apprenticeship?
Yeah, so I basically left school in 2011 at the start of year 12. I just wasn't into it. Basically picked up a landscaping apprenticeship. Did that for a year. Loved it. It was fittest I'd ever been. It was good. And then basically after a year, I just sort of worked out it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. It was just sort of something to do. And then got offered a job doing labouring for a roofing company, and then did that for a year. And then was more into spending money, going out and partying, and so I got the sack from that. And then,
Really?
Yeah, I took a extra long weekend for myself and pretended to be sick, and they were like, "Oh, all right, don't come in till Friday." I'm like, all right, came in, and like, "Oh, we don't need you." I was like, that's fair enough. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
And then basically had sort of 6 months without knowing what I wanted to do, and Dad actually saw a electrical pre-apprenticeship advertisement, and I'd always tinkered with electronics and stuff when I was younger. I thought, that'd be pretty interesting. So did the pre-apprenticeship course down in Rhodes, and then basically picked up a job straight away and loved it.
So the pre-apprenticeship course, how old were you then?
I was 19, I think. About
Right.
yeah.
And that was a 6-month course or 12 months?
I feel like it was about 6, maybe just a bit less. But yeah, it's basically just a certificate too.
And then you found an apprenticeship as an electrician at probably, we'll say, age 20?
Yep.
And then it was a 4-year apprenticeship?
Yep.
So you basically finished your apprenticeship and then went out on your own?
Yeah, pretty much. I got sick of travelling down to Sydney every day.
So you're commuting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Would you say one of the main drivers for you to go out on your own was to not be in the rat race?
Yes and no. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to do things differently than the way my old bosses did it. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was great. Driving to Sydney and back sucked, but everyone's got to do stuff they don't like.
Yeah, so for those that aren't anywhere near Sydney and the Central Coast where we are, it's about an hour and 20-minute commute-ish.
Yeah, it depends where you're going and what time you're leaving.
Yeah. So you basically finished the apprenticeship and thought, I can't keep commuting to Sydney. I'll start my own business.
Well, I knew that I wanted to start my own business and start doing my own thing. Not like I wanted to expand more on just basic electrical stuff that we were doing. But I also wanted to grow and, do my own thing, basically.
So what type of work were you doing prior to starting your own business, and what are you doing now? So what's kind of like your ideal type of work or customer at the moment?
We were doing a lot of real estate work, commercial work, building work, a lot of residential stuff. Basically, love doing all of that. Ideally, I'd like to be doing new builds, renovations, building work. I love being on building sites, but I like having involvement with the customer. So not just doing everything as cheaply as possible, or, I don't. It's one of those things where a customer always says, "Oh, I want it sort of done as cheap as possible," and you think you're not going to get a good outcome. But I like having my own input and being there in terms of if the customer has an idea, I want it to come to fruition, and I want to be, I want to be able to advise them what I recommend, do, don't, anything. I like being a part of the whole process from the start to the finish, seeing a house go from what it was to what it is.
Turn the lights on, plug the fridge in or whatever.
Yeah, I love it. And just being able to see the effect and see how happy the customers are with a good outcome.
So you started the business. So from what I'm hearing, you love that direct relationship. That's what, I guess, gets you up and going. How did you start to get clients when you started your business? Like, what's your main source of how to get clients?
At the start, I was still commuting, just subcontracting to my old company. They were nice enough. I had a 4-wheel drive at the time and I didn't want to work out of it. And they pretty much had a spare old crappy high-ace van. And they were nice enough to lease it to me. Basically I paid them off. And they stocked it up with all gear from their factory and, pay it off over, I think it took me a year, but it was commuting back and forth, subbing to them most of the time, and then basically picking up whatever I could on the coast. It was, basically for the first year, it was all word of mouth.
Yeah. And it still would be to a point, is it?
Most of it, yes. But one good thing with the advertising side was I was lucky enough that my godmother's in printing and advertising, so she came up with all the designs and everything, put the big stickers on the van, and a lot of people have noticed it.
Really? So the business is called Tide Electrical.
Yep.
I want to just talk about this because I guess in terms of pure startup business, yes, you were subcontracting. So maybe even the first year of quote unquote going out on your own, it was just kind of an extension of being an employee.
Yeah.
So realistically, you technically may have only been out on your own for 2 years now in terms of getting your own work and not just having the one customer that you contract to.
Well, yeah. At the start it was sort of, 3 or 4 days a week with them, and then it just sort of gradually died off over the year. And then, it was a gradual process.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm getting at, because a lot of people want to start their own business and go out on their own. It's a lot harder unless you got lots of cash in the bank just to go stop and then the next day I'll start my own thing. So you've had this constant income, and we'll call it your day job.
Yep.
But you had the latitude to still try and find your own work, and it was probably the best of both worlds because you had that consistent income that you could dial down as the work increased in your own right.
Yep.
So when you started the business, did you have any, like when you went out on your own, even contracting, did you have any money in the bank? Did you have any type of a plan of what you were going to do? How much was it to buy the van off them over the year with all the crap in it? Talk to us about the money side.
So basically, I have always been horrible with money. I spend 100%. It was just more of a not a leap of faith, but more just I knew I was going to do well. It was just more of a, I don't know, intuition.
And had you grown up in this area where you started your business?
Yeah. So I've been on the coast my whole life.
So I think that helps when you go out on your own because you got roots deep into the community and the word of mouth can spread fast.
Yeah, well, that was it. A lot of it was sort of, I don't know, friends of family members, and sort of just grew from there. But it also helps with, I feel, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but on the coast, everyone kind of knows everyone. So everyone's supportive of each other. And I had a lot of people, when I first set it up on Facebook and Instagram, people sharing it and trying to get the word out there, which is I was amazed with.
So back to the cost, how much was it costing you a month to pay off the van?
I can't remember exactly, but basically all up, I think it was about six and a half grand worth of van and gear.
Okay, so quite a low barrier to entry.
Yeah, it was
that you could cash flow it.
It was very manageable for me, and to still be able to make money to pay all my weekly bills. And I live at my mother-in-law's place, so rent was cheap, and I could still pay for everything I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do, afford to, keep going the way that I was, but also build at the same time.
What was, so you said you were bad at managing money.
Yep.
How has that translated into running your small business? So how did you set up the small business bank accounts? Did you have separate accounts? Talk to us through what you did.
I tried to do that completely different to the way that I manage my own life. So straight away it was business transaction account, business savings account, and then it was same as a lot of businesses. The first year, you don't think about tax. And so first financial year rolled around and here you go, you owe ATO 20 grand. And I just like, oh, crap, where am I going to come up with this money for? I didn't save any of it. And then I found out you can pay it off over 8 months, 9 months, something like that. But yeah, then that was sort of a turning point to just every time someone paid me, just put 30% of it away, so 10% for GST. Because after the first year, my accountant said you're going to get pretty close to the GST threshold of 75 grand, so you may as well just do it now. So yeah, I started putting 10% plus 20% towards personal income. And yeah, just left that in savings. Every quarter, basically, I'd do a BAS statement and then pay for that then, wait until the financial year and then pay off the income.
And you would already now have quarterly income installments though, wouldn't you?
Now I do, yep.
So in your line of work, if someone wants a big job and you might have to have a couple of grand worth of equipment,
yep.
How are you working and you don't have to be an electrician to be in this model. You could be supplying equipment in a shop, or you could be doing other types of work where you've got to cough up a lump sum of money, buy the equipment, do the work, and then charge people. How are you setting that up in a small business when cash flow is lean and tight? How did you do that at the start, and has it changed to what you're doing now?
You basically got to have a lot of trust in people to begin with. I still do. Just got to the point where you realise that sometimes money's going to be hard to get out of people. You aren't a bank. You shouldn't be upfronting all the costs. So I ask for a deposit. Basically, if it's a small enough job, I've got the cash flow to outlay it and not worry about it and just get it all as a lump sum, like $500 job.
Yeah.
I don't want to deposit off someone and then they have to transfer me a small amount.
Do you have a threshold in your mind where you're like, if it's more than $3,000, I want a deposit?
Basically $1,000, because normally they're things like, someone wants ceiling fans put in or something, and say, for example, $180 a pop for standard one with a light, and they add up pretty quickly if you've got a couple of them to do. So it's just sort of, I don't know. I sort of think around the grand mark. I'm pretty lenient when it comes to asking for a deposit. It's all in my quote and everything, but I don't really
just go with your gut.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I've touch wood. I've been very lucky. Pretty much only had one job that hasn't been paid for, and it was a very strange person. But
do you have
cop it
with your relationship with suppliers? Do you run accounts with suppliers? How does that work in your world?
So basically, with the electrical wholesalers, they'll open up a trade account with you for 30 days. And I think it starts at $5,000.
Yep.
So you've got a month worth of spending, and then you hit your limit of $5,000. And then by the end of the next month, you have to have it paid.
Yeah.
But then if you build a good relationship with them, you're always on top of it. You've always got it paid off. You start purchasing more and more. You can up it and extend it. So most of them I've got $10,000 limit and 60-day terms. So they give you 2 months.
So why wouldn't you get to the point in your business where you just cash flow that on the spot?
I've thought about it, but it's just more one of those things where half the time you're in a rush. You want to just go to the wholesaler, grab whatever you need, and then go.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just say, put all this on this job, or put it down as stock or whatever, grab the gear and go.
Yeah. Have you been caught out with the supplier before?
No, because I know what it's like that they need to get paid. So at the end of the day, it's not my money, it's theirs. So basically, same with the ATO. There's no way out of it. You're paying for it regardless.
Yeah. Has your relationship with debt in your personal life or the small business changed? Has it evolved? And what is that?
Yes. So I started seeing John last year end of last year for basically business coaching. And
so John Pigeon's the co-host of My Millennial Money podcast, who does small business coaching and a whole heap of other stuff.
See, I didn't know that he did that until I put a post up in the group, and you actually mentioned and said that John does it.
You're right.
And yeah, he was great. He basically changed my train of thought in terms of spending and saving and automate everything.
So how important was it to have a business coach when you're in the early stages? Because I bet it's this trade-off of, I don't know if I can afford this, but you look back and you go, well, I could not have afforded to not do that, or whatever the saying is.
Look, it is a significant cost. Like, it's not unreachable. It's not stupid, but it is, especially if you're a small business, you don't have a lot of money coming in all the time. It does, you do see it going out of your bank account, but in terms of how effective it was, this is the first year I've actually had savings without it just being random money that comes in. And so, yeah, basically I don't need to worry about cash flow in the business because there's money coming in, money's going out, and I don't have to think about how much is going in and out. And same with personal.
And back to the debt, have you used debt in the business?
Basically only for the van.
Yeah.
And then the credit accounts with the wholesalers, but they get paid monthly. The van gets direct debited, so I don't need to think about it.
So how much did you pay for the van?
All up it was 47.
So call it 50 grand.
Yeah, about 50.
And what are you kind of pulling out of the business, if I can ask, a year?
The moment I'm on track to hit 200 grand this year.
Turnover or profit?
Turnover.
Right.
Profit, I think last year was about 90.
Yeah, so you're earning a 90 grand income.
Yep.
Through your small business.
Yep.
What other goals have you got in the business at the moment to really try and maximize that? If you want to maximize it, are you happy? Do Do you want to just keep the status quo? What are your intentions for the business at the moment?
I've sort of got short and long-term goals with it. Like I love doing day-to-day electrical, but I also want to grow and do more with it. Electrical just happens to be a good avenue. There's a lot of different things you can do. So I'd like to start doing air conditioning as well, and solar. So they're the two main things that a Sparky get asked by a customer is, do you do solar? Do you do air cons as well? I've done the solar course. I've just got to find time to do the practical with someone so I can submit evidence of me doing a job.
Yeah.
And then basically get the accreditation so I can go out and start installing solar panels for people.
So on that, do you have, so Tide Electrical in your mind, are you just happy to, you're engaged to be married, you live, beach town, are you happy to go to work, go home, get your 90 grand and life's amazing? Or do you want this empire that, Tide Solar, Tide Air, Tide Electrical? Like, where's your mind in terms of the business side of it?
Sort of in the middle. I mean, I'd love, I'm comfortable. I like it. It's good. But I wouldn't mind a bit more to just have that freedom, be able to save for a house a lot quicker, be able to do whatever I want, not have to worry about money. But everyone wants that. I mean, I don't want to be a millionaire. If it happens, cool. If not, I'm not fussed, but I just want to be comfortable. In the long run, I would like to have sort of a Tide group.
Yeah.
So basically have just different sections of Tide that do different things, electrical, air, solar.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been discussed.
What are the biggest issues that you're facing, like right now in your business?
Just the uncertainty of work. I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones that I've never been busier.
So is that uncertainty irrational, human nature uncertainty? Because if you've never been busier, the facts are that you've never been busier.
Well, that's it. Is it part of the growing process over the years, or is it because everyone's spending all their money through COVID at the moment? Because the start of COVID, I had about 2 weeks where I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was very worried about how work was going to go. It sort of got to over the weekend, and I had 2 or 3 days booked in for the week, and that was it. And then by the end of the Monday, I had a full week. End of that week rolls around, same thing, had no idea how it was going to go. And then after those 2 weeks, it just skyrocketed.
So certainty. So the question is, in your business, how do we get customers for you that you're almost on like a monthly retainer or a contract, like a bigger organization where you're the contracted electrical or on-call or something like that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one because there are so many sparkies, plumbers, builders, everything on the coast, and everyone's already got their little niche area. I've got lucky with a real estate and a property management company. That real estate just randomly rang me up one day, both
Great.
property managers within 10 minutes, and offered me work, and then they've been pretty consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Oh, the property management company, they got onto me from the signage on the van.
Because that certainty thing, and I'm just going to free talk jive, think out loud. The certainty is like you're worried about people who will not spend money on electrical work, which means people won't call you. So I think if you flipped it and focused on getting work from people that they're spending other people's money, like the property managers, that's so certain because you're dealing with investors ultimately who are writing the bill, they're paying the invoice.
Yeah.
And the property manager, this needs to be done. Yep, come and do it. And it's not usually how much can you get this for and the talk down. It's more this, do it.
Yes and no. So a lot of property owners that rent them out, a lot of them are just whatever needs to be done, do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them actually just say, no, it's going to cost too much money, or I'll get someone else to do it that's cheaper.
But I guess this is why you've got to find the property managers who have good clients themselves.
Yeah.
Who have, like, because if they call me and say my investment property needs a new light switch, I'm like, sort it.
Yeah. A lot of them are like that. A lot of them understand that to actually make money off their property, they have to spend it. They have to upkeep it. They have to look after it. Whereas some of the properties I go to are just not maintained at all. It takes so much for the tenant to actually get into the owner's head that this needs to be done.
So what other things can we do in your business that removes that fear of uncertainty?
Well, there's not really a fear as such at the moment. I know at the end of the day, there's always going to be work. I just need to chase it.
Do you think as well, like you're only new-ish into the business, your personal risk profile, stomach, vibe has to adjust to living in this world that as a small business owner, I wake up every day without a job and just adjusting to that?
Pretty much. So it's, every day you can't just expect everything to be the same all the time. You just take it a day as it comes. Don't worry about it. Just get your work done, do your quotes, do your invoicing, advertise where you can, and
call people back, show up on time.
Yep.
That's all you need to do in a business, right?
Yep. That's easy. Everyone's got a phone on them. You can text, call, I'm running 5 minutes late, I'm running 5 minutes early.
So if you're out there and you've got a small business and you're worrying about, where am I going to get work next week, next month? I've had these thoughts. Stu's had these thoughts. What I did in my mind was, and I've said this on My Millennial Money before, I don't know where I'm going to get work from in a year's time. I've got no idea where I'm going to earn money from in 2 years' time. There's actually no difference between 2 years' time and 1 month's time or 1 week's time because it's actually not today and it's tomorrow. So all I need to focus on is doing the best I can today with what I've got and let the future take care of itself.
Yep.
So that's easy to say, but for me, I had to really hack my mind game where I don't sit around worrying about where I get money from in 2 years because that blows my mind and I still can't go there. So why do I need to worry about a month's time?
Yeah, you cannot control it. You basically just have to have faith and leave it at that. It's going to happen. Life works the way it works. Money's going to come in from somewhere.
What are the biggest wins that you've had and done in your business, in any area of the business?
Basically, word of mouth, people being happy with the work they receive and the quality. I'm just lucky that people recommend me to everyone else because they love the work that I do. And I'm there to provide a service. I'm not just doing a job. I'm doing something for someone. I want them to be happy. I'm not going to just get away with doing a cheap job for the sake of just getting the work done and going.
How do you go on above and beyond on a job?
I clean up after myself.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, the amount of people that just say, oh, wow, he's got a vacuum or he's got a broom or a dustpan. And that's one of the first things you take in with you.
Do you ever leave a card with people?
Yeah. Yeah, I leave cards, fridge magnets. I find a lot of the older people love fridge magnets.
Yeah.
But, normally I'll stick them in if I do switchboard work and stuff, put a sticker in the switchboard. If they ever have an issue, my name and number's right there. Call me. I'll come out at any time.
Do you have as an electrician, because I'm just always thinking ways that you can stand out or perceived point of difference.
Yep.
Do you have any of those? So when you're dealing with somebody, when you leave them, how are you leaving a lasting impression with the individual clients? I'm not talking about going and do the job for the real estate. I'm talking about the house down the road, they want 12 new down lights installed. You're dealing direct with your ideal client. Because what I'm getting at is your ideal client is that individual customer who values quality.
Yep.
And you can actually work with them to design their dreams of the type of work they want done. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, well, that's it. You've got to put yourself in their shoes, get inside their head, work out what they want, why they want it, what direction they're going with it, what they're visualizing, because at the end of the day, it's their house. They're going to get what they want. So you just steer them in the right direction and don't supply cheap stuff.
So given that when you are working with your ideal client, they're happy for you to pay for quality things.
Yep.
They're happy for you to go, hey, you wanted 3 downlights in that room there. Trust me, you only need 2. Trust me, you need 4 or whatever, and they take your advice.
Yep.
They're an awesome client. What are you doing to leave a lasting impression? Because usually our ideal clients know ideal clients because like attracts like.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in your business after you've finished your job to really leave a lasting impression?
I want them to feel comfortable with me. I want them to feel like not only am I just another tradie coming into their house, but I'm friendly. I want them to feel like I am a friend coming to do some work, and they're happy to see me. They're happy that I've done such a good job. Apart from something's changed in the house, you'd never know I was there. I've cleaned up. I've left them a card. I've spoken to them as if they were my friends, and usually that's a pretty good result.
Have you thought about other stuff like leaving or sending? And I'm talking about the ideal client, the absolute ideal client, where it's a bit of bespoke work, it's high value.
Yep.
Like a bottle of wine and a card just to really stand out. So next time they're out at a barbecue or talking with someone, they're like, oh, we had a bloody electrician. He's awesome. Because they really think of you because you've gone above and beyond, because they might have had 3 trades in the house.
Yep.
But how can you leave that lasting thing that's unexpected from an electrician?
Well, I mean, I have thought about it. In the past, it was always sort of finance was always the worry about it. Like, oh, well, I don't want to spend.
Yeah, but your ideal client, you just bury it in the cost anyway. They pay for the gift. I mean,
well, that's if you
really
think about it before you do the job.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, 9 times out of 10, you make enough throughout the year to be able to afford the little things. But it's just one of those things that gets sort of.
Because I used to and my business was a bit more established, but I used to kind of invest 5% of the turnover back into client stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
We did movie days, bring your kids, we hired a cinema for the day, and
yeah, okay.
While every year, and it could be that at Christmas time, because we're leading up to Christmas, what about you go back in your diary and you got their addresses, a Christmas card, just your ideal clients. I'm not talking about a PowerPoint from Nan. There could only be 3. Hi, Daryl and Megan, or whatever their bloody names are. Merry Christmas. I really loved working. Your job was a highlight of my year. And this is this thing that will set you apart and be front of mind.
Yeah, it's definitely an option to consider. To be honest, I haven't considered it. It's always just been
And this is why, because we need to have this mindset when we're in business, if you want to kind of grow the group, so the work comes automatically and the work comes as your ideal client, then having too much work is a really good problem, because then you can train other people to join the team.
Well, that's it. It got to the point during COVID where I wanted to employ someone, but it was just that I don't want to employ someone and then, in a month's time, I only have enough work to keep me going, and I don't want to pay someone standing around, basically.
Yeah, and that's this whole thing in the next couple of years, if you can do stuff where you're really going after your ideal client. Because you've got to blow people's expectations away.
Yep.
Like if I got a Christmas card handwritten from the aircon guy or something. Hey, Glenn, it was really fun to work on your house this year. Merry Christmas. And I say this crap, you don't have to be literal with the examples I'm giving, but just to get the juices flowing with how to stand out and above, because you're not the only tradie that cleans up after himself.
Yeah.
That's longer.
You
That's
also
hygiene.
need these.
I mean, there's a lot that bloody don't.
Yeah. But like this conversation, a lot of people don't think about it. I haven't thought about it. It's just been do the work, clients are happy, I'm happy, everyone gets paid, everyone's happy. That's it.
Because
So I haven't thought about it.
And the reason I harp on about it, because that client that you've gone in, you've loved working there, you've installed the 12 downlights and all that, you know that they are willing and able and are a paying client.
Yep.
You know that. So you need to kind of touch base, and you're not going to bug them every year with a bloody card or whatever, but it's just a, hey, it was a highlight. Upon reflection of the year, it was a highlight working with you. Merry Christmas. And then I'm also thinking as well, when you're on site and leaving, can you be like, hey, not many electricians do this, but if it happens, I've got a 24-hour hotline or I've got a 24-hour call out, and I don't charge extra for preferred customers or whatever. Just make something up, because at least if they call you, you want to be the first person they think of when something hits the fan. Yeah,
well, there have been, certain jobs, certain customers where I just say, don't worry about paying for it, because I know I'm going to get more work from them later on.
Yep.
I'd rather help them out and keep them happy and know that I'm going to get some work out of them. They're going to get good quality work and reliable work, and they're going to get sorted out if a problem arises.
Someone else that's out there who wants to start their own business or transition to doing their own thing, what are some bits of advice that you would give them, and what are some things that you would not suggest they do?
Definitely try and have some money behind yourself. It will just help take a bit of the stress off. I was lucky that I was able to subcontract, but if I wasn't, I wouldn't have a stable income. I'd be worrying about money all the time. So try and have some money behind yourself, and do your research before you start. I did about 6 months to a year worth of Googling and working out how to do things, asking questions with other trades. And
just a question, what invoicing software are you using?
Xero.
And are you invoicing sitting in the van out the front before you go to the next job?
Sometimes. Mostly for the small real estate jobs where I've got most of it ready to go. It's easy enough to just type it in my phone, hit send, don't have to worry about it later. Bigger jobs, I don't like to come home and have to sit in the office for hours every night and catch up on everything, but sometimes it's just easier to do it from the comfort of the office at home as opposed to trying to do it on a phone in the van, and I don't want to take my computer to work.
Yeah. Well, I've had fun chatting about your business. I'm excited to see how it goes, and hopefully for those listening, you can think, what are some of the things that you might be able to take from Stu's story, apply to your life, some of the stuff we've kind of workshopped, because you've just got to always go above and beyond.
Just don't be worried. Don't stress. Just
Give it a shot.
Do it. You might fail, but if you're good and you're actually determined, you're not going to fail. You'll do well.
You might fail, but you might also succeed. And you won't know if you succeed unless you try it.
Yeah, but the failure might be part of the success.
I failed at so many little businesses. They're just ideas. I try them. No, it doesn't work. All right, that didn't work.
But that's it. There's always something else.
Totally. All right, Stewart. Tide Electrical, Central Coast. If you're around our area, hook him up. He'll hook you up.
Yep.
See you soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Bye.